In late October 1942, as the humid night settled heavily over the battered perimeter of Henderson Field, tension rippled through the American positions. The United States Army units recently brought in to reinforce the exhausted United States Marines could sense that something ominous was stirring in the jungle. A group of soldiers crouched in shallow foxholes, gripping their M1 Garand rifles, listening to the distant rustle of movement beyond the tree line. Before the United States could fully appreciate the decisive power of its semi-automatic infantry weapon, the soldiers on Guadalcanal were about to learn firsthand how modern firepower could shape the outcome of a desperate battle. The American forces, hardened by weeks of combat, knew that the Japanese were preparing a massive night assault. Air warfare was evolving, naval engagements raged offshore, and the entire fate of the Solomon Islands seemed to hinge upon this patch of rough coral runway and jungle mud. As America joined the fight for control of Henderson Field, the M1 Garand carried by each soldier became more than just a rifle. It became the tool that could keep the thin American line from collapsing under the weight of determined Japanese attacks. When the assault began, it came suddenly and violently. Japanese infantry armed with Type 38 and Type 99 Arisaka rifles pressed through the undergrowth with fierce resolve. Their officers urged them forward into the darkness as they attempted to overwhelm the American positions with sheer numbers and relentless spirit. Yet the dense jungle and chaotic close-range fighting quickly revealed a devastating disparity in weapon technology. While the Japanese rifles were durable and accurate, each shot required the soldier to manually cycle the bolt before firing again. In the intense and rapidly shifting engagements around Henderson Field, that delay proved costly. The American soldiers unleashed rapid sequences of fire simply by pulling the trigger of the M1 Garand again and again. The semi-automatic design allowed them to maintain a continuous stream of accurate fire, creating walls of bullets that cut through charging waves of attackers. Searchable keywords like World War to Pacific War Guadalcanal Japanese infantry, the M1 Garand appear throughout this recounting of real events. The defensive lines held, not through numbers, but through firepower. As the smoke drifted upward into the dark canopy and the night roared with battle, the difference between semi-automatic and bolt-action rifles became one of the defining factors of survival. In the early 1930s, long before American forces clashed with Japanese infantry at Henderson Field, the United States Army Ordnance Department began to recognize that the future of ground combat would demand faster firing, more reliable infantry weapons. Before the United States formally entered the Second World War, a quiet revolution was already underway in American firearms development. A gifted engineer named John Garand worked tirelessly at Springfield Armory, perfecting a design that would eventually give American soldiers a decisive battlefield advantage. As air warfare was evolving and military doctrine worldwide shifted toward mobility and rapid response, Garand believed that the infantry rifle had to evolve as well. For decades, most major armies relied on bolt-action rifles, weapons that demanded deliberate, mechanical cycling after every shot. Although accurate, they limited a soldier's ability to deliver continuous fire in fast-moving engagements. Garand's solution was the M1 rifle, a semi-automatic firearm powered by a gas-operated system that allowed each shot to automatically chamber the next round. When the United States Army officially adopted the M1 in the mid-1930s, it became the first major military force to equip its standard infantry entirely with a semi-automatic rifle. This transformation was more than technological. It signaled a shift in infantry combat philosophy. The M1 Garand, with its 8-round en-bloc clip, sturdy construction, and dependable performance in harsh environments, allowed American soldiers to fire rapidly and accurately without losing sight alignment or cycling a bolt. Features like these made it particularly effective in real battle conditions, where seconds often meant the difference between life and death. By the time American troops defended Henderson Field in 1942, this innovation had matured into a battlefield advantage. The ability to sustain fire gave American infantrymen a powerful edge against opponents, still using older designs. Searchable keywords such as John Garand semi-automatic rifle Springfield Armory and United States Army modernization help highlight the significance of this development. The M1 was not only reliable and rugged, but also easy to maintain under stress, making it an ideal weapon for jungle warfare. During the Pacific War, from Guadalcanal to Leyte, American forces repeatedly demonstrated how the enhanced firepower of the M1 Garand shaped the outcome of countless engagements. Its rapid-fire capability empowered soldiers to hold defensive lines against numerically superior forces and to deliver overwhelming bursts of fire during attacks. The Henderson Field battle serves as one of the clearest examples of how American innovation directly influenced the trajectory of combat. Before the year 1942, Japan had already committed significant effort toward perfecting its primary infantry weapons, the Type 38 and the later Type 99 Arisaka rifles. These rifles were the product of a military tradition that valued discipline, long-range accuracy, and rugged field reliability. As America joined the growing conflict in the Pacific, Japanese forces relied heavily on these bolt-action designs, which had been the backbone of their infantry doctrine since the early 20th century. The Arisaka series earned a reputation among military historians for exceptionally strong receivers and dependable performance even in harsh climates. The Type 38, chambered for the 6.5mm cartridge, produced light recoil and excellent accuracy at distance. The Type 99, introduced later with a more powerful 7.7mm round, demonstrated high muzzle velocity and solid ballistic performance. These strengths made Arisaka rifles reliable tools for open-field engagements and long-range marksmanship. However, the Pacific War did not unfold on wide-open plains. Instead, much of the combat occurred in dense jungles, cramped ridges, and chaotic night battles where close-quarter action dominated the fight. In these situations, the limitations of the Arisaka rifles became increasingly apparent. Each shot required a deliberate bolt cycle, which forced the rifleman to lower the rifle slightly, shift hand position, and refocus before firing again. Against an enemy equipped with a semi-automatic rifle capable of delivering multiple aim shots with simple trigger pulls, this delay could prove deadly. When Japanese infantry stormed American positions at Henderson Field, many carried rifles originally intended for different tactical environments. Their 5-round magazines demanded frequent reloading, a notable disadvantage during the rapid exchanges of fire that characterized Pacific combat. The long barrels of the Type 38 made maneuvering through thick vegetation difficult, while the older 6.5mm cartridge lacked the stopping power needed in some close encounters. Yet Japanese soldiers demonstrated remarkable courage and tenacity. They pressed forward with unwavering commitment, maximizing every advantage they had through discipline and aggressive tactics. Still, the realities of modern warfare had shifted. The clash between semi-automatic American firepower and bolt-action Japanese endurance highlighted a widening technological gap that shaped the outcome of many engagements. Searchable keywords such as Arisaka rifle Type 38, Type 99 Japanese infantry Pacific War, and bolt-action rifle performance help anchor this historical analysis. As the struggle intensified across the Solomon Islands, the strengths and weaknesses of Japan's primary infantry weapons played a defining role in the broader war effort. In October 1942, while the fighting at Henderson Field revealed the tactical realities of rifle combat, a far larger story was unfolding behind the lines. The industrial power of the United States was beginning to surge in a way that Japan could not match. Before the United States fully mobilized for the Pacific War, its economy already possessed enormous manufacturing potential. As America joined the global conflict, that potential transformed into an engine of mass production that reshaped the capabilities of its armed forces. American factories such as Springfield Armory and Winchester poured out M1 Garand rifles with remarkable consistency and efficiency. The United States possessed refined assembly processes, abundant raw materials, and an industrial workforce capable of producing millions of weapons while still maintaining high-quality standards. By mid-1943, the majority of American infantrymen fighting across the Pacific carried a semi-automatic rifle, an achievement unmatched by any other nation during the war. Japan faced a very different reality. Its industrial base was far smaller, burdened by shortages of steel, fuel, precision machinery, and transport capacity. Although Japanese engineers produced the Type 99 with the intention of replacing the older Type 38, nationwide adoption became impossible. Production delays, shortages of key materials, and the strain of fighting across vast island chains prevented Japan from equipping all units with the newer rifle. As the conflict continued and strategic bombing intensified, the quality of Japanese weapons declined. Rifles produced in the later years often lacked features such as protective covers, monopods, or finely machined parts that had once been standard. Some late production rifles showed signs of rushed craftsmanship, a reflection of a nation struggling to maintain output under immense pressure. This widening industrial gap meant that American forces consistently entered battle with more modern, more reliable, and more plentiful equipment. On islands like Tarawa, Saipan, Peleliu, and Iwo Jima, the ability to supply every infantryman with a dependable semi-automatic rifle contributed to tactical dominance. Searchable keywords such as United States industrial production, World War II mass production, Springfield Armory, Japanese industry, and Pacific theater logistics highlight the central factors that shaped the conflict. The M1 Garand was not merely a weapon. It was a symbol of an industrial power that could sustain long campaigns and equip its soldiers with technology that improved their chances of survival. From Henderson Field onward, the difference between American and Japanese production capacity played a decisive role in determining the fate of the Pacific War.